This is Radio 4. It's 5:25.
Judge James Pickles retires. A poll reveals 65% of women now feel it's safer to walk the streets at night.
Douglas Hurd's talks in China break down when he let slip that the new airport he wanted was needed to get everyone out in time.
Following claims that she smoked drugs, had premarital sex, and upset the Queen, Nancy Reagan is signed as lead guitarist with the Rolling Stones.
And after Seagram wins the Seagram Grand National, the English cricket team changed their name to Prudential.
Weekending April the 12th. The look back at the last 7 days with David Tate, Sally Grace, John Glover, Kitty Kelly, and Alistair McGowan.
Weekending are very pleased to welcome into the studio a very special guest this week. Kitty Kelly, author of the very controversial new biography on Nancy Reagan. Hello, Kitty.
Hello. I'd just like to reveal that I Love Lucy was actually written by Blaise Pascal.
Thank you, Kitty. Over the course of the program, we'll be supplying Kitty with enormous advances on her next publishing contract, while she gives us some startling revelations. But first, let's have a look back over her very controversial career.
Kitty Kelly was born in 1958, the love child of Henry Kelly and a famous brand of cat food. At school, she quickly acquired the reputation as the second most annoying person in the world to play I Spy with.
I spy with my little eye something beginning with C.
Cupboard?
No.
Carton?
No.
Carry a bag?
No.
No, I give in.
It was drain pipe.
What?
I lied about the C bit.
After a spell writing the lead articles for the Sunday Sport, Kitty wrote her first published work of fiction.
The biography of Frank Sinatra.
In it, Kitty claimed that Frank Sinatra did not sing the popular song New York, New York, for at the time of the recording, Sinatra was in fact having an affair with the Queen Mother on the moon.
Instead, according to Kitty, the real artists who sang the record were Milli Vanilli and comedy actor John Inman.
And now she's burst yet again into public prominence with her biography of Nancy Reagan.
Mr. Reagan, what is your opinion of the allegation made by many people in the world that in spring, quite a few flowers grow spontaneously out of the ground?
Never have the words complete fabrication sprung so easily to my lips.
Thank you, Mr. Reagan, sir.
They need our help. They're being forced to flee from their homes in fear of their lives. They need food and shelter. They need your money. This is a cause that the whole country has taken to their hearts. Please make checks payable to the London Zoo Crisis Fund.
Because if you don't, we London zookeepers are going to have to start getting nasty.
Yeah.
Unless we receive £12 million in used fibres from the government and the public, we are going to be forced to start knocking off our animals one by one.
This boa constrictor might soon be propping up a motorway or wearing a concrete slipper. To show we're serious, we are sending everybody in the country a bit of their favourite animal. Hello, Sonny.
Hello.
That's a lovely baby panda you've got there.
Yes, she's my favourite.
Well, unless we get the money, we'll have to suspend her from that tree by her nostrils.
No, it's all my pocket money for a year.
£1.50? That simply isn't enough. To save space, animals will have to share cages. We'll be putting Tweety the canary in the alligator enclosure.
Yeah, so give all your money to London Zoo, or we put Dettol in the teapot at the Chimps Tea Party.
All right.
Well, Kitty Kelly, here's 50,000 up front. Now, any more revelations?
Oh, yes, I can reveal that Sue Pollard is the rightful King of England.
Mm-hmm.
And believe it or not, Gerald Kaufman can crack walnuts with his nipples.
Yeah. Just sign here, Kitty, would you?
Every 10 years, there is a census in this country. This will ask various questions so we can see what shape the country is in and make plans for the future. The more honest you are, the better we can plan. The sort of questions which will be asked are...
1. What job do you do?
2. Do you get paid in cash?
3. Do you use this cash to buy drugs of any description?
4. Who do you get these drugs from?
5. Do you know anyone else who looks at all suspicious?
Remember, your answers will be treated with the strictest confidence.
Honest.
Hello? Is that the government? The Tower of London here. If you don't pay us 15 million quid in used £5 notes, we will kill all our beef eaters. Also, we will knock ourselves down and build a 1950s concrete and pebble dash NTP car park instead. You have been warned.
Government, it's Alton Towers. If you don't give us obscene amounts of money, we will stop our big wheel with 5 small children at the top.
Hello, government. It's Kew Gardens here. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Been a naughty boy, haven't we? Not paying up, are we? We told you, give us 13 million quid by this lunchtime. Now, are you going to pay up, or shall I forget to heat the cacti house? Get my drift.
Hello, Ayrton government. Sid Little here. Look, I attract more tourists to Ilfracombe with my summer season than any other person. If you don't send me a bit of cash, I'll top myself, and Ilfracombe will become a depressed area. Get the picture? I've sent me here to you to show you I'm not mucking about. And if you don't comply, I'll send you my pancreas and spleen. You have 5 seconds. Right, that's it.
The FA Super League. 18 teams of highly trained footballers at the very zenith of their physical abilities. These Olympians, clad in fine silk kit made only from hand-picked silkworms, will use only perfectly spherical balls of virgin white animal hide. They shall play in statuesque stadiums resembling Greek amphitheaters on the sleekest grass on the sunniest of days. Indeed, even the Super League streakers are young, beautiful, and voluptuous. The FA Super League will clearly be the epitome of sporting achievement. So why are we letting Luton in?
General Naylor.
Excuse me. So, General Naylor, do you have plans to overthrow Hussein to restore balance in the Gulf?
Of course. We are completely confident that Hussein will go.
What's the plan, then? Are you going to send in a crack squadron of SAS-type blokes, perhaps disguised as a camel?
No, we can't get directly militarily involved, obviously.
Sir, could you support the Kurds with weapons and supplies?
No, we couldn't go that far. Be reasonable.
But how can you predict Saddam's downfall?
Well, we hope to speed his demise by getting his cook to serve fattier foods, his chauffeur to take less care when approaching traffic lights, and by leaving roller skates at the top of his stairs. Also, our scientific experts inform us as Saddam gets older, his body will become frail and weak, and that eventually a major internal organ will fail and Saddam will cease to govern.
How long do you think that...
But what I don't understand, Minister, is how come last year you got all the military forces to the Gulf within days, but the food drop to the Kurds is taking so long?
Well, moving weapons is easy. We have them stockpiled. But have you ever tried traipsing around supermarkets to get enough stuff together to make a drop? First of all, you can't find what you want. They move the stuff from aisle to aisle. Then you always get the trolley with a dodgy wheel. And then you end up in a queue behind some old woman who's lost her purse.
Pay attention, men. With the situation in the north of Iraq, we are going to have to move and move fast.
We're with you, General.
Okay, here's plan of action, boys. 3rd Armored will move out under cover of darkness to here, Grand Rapids, Missouri, for the end-of-war parade on Sunday. While simultaneously, the 1st Airborne will make a pincer movement on New England before moving for ticker tape receptions in Maine, Connecticut, and Kennebunkport.
What about the Marines, Major?
Marines? A beachhead here, Coney Island.
Any comments, Kitty?
In the 40s and 50s, Ronnie got his kicks dressing up in military-style uniform with leather belts and boots and such like. Some people have even seen films of him like that, though not many, obviously.
Here's another tenner.
So, Willie Carson, how do you feel about the demonstration at Aintree last week? Is the Grand National cruel?
Oh, no, the horses love it. As soon as they see the fences, their teeth chatter with glee. They sweat with happendess. They cack themselves with pleasure. In fact, some actually break their necks with excitement.
So, Willie, why have you never ridden in it?
You think I'm bloody daft, Peter?
Weekending presents, in association with Michelin, our guide to the 7 most dangerous places Kevin Keegan likes to go to sleep.
1. The front carriage of the corkscrew ride at Alton Towers.
2. In a field of bulls with his old Liverpool strip-on.
3. In Neil Kinnock's front garden, 10 minutes after closing time.
4. In between the cooling rods and the uranium-enriched core at Dungeness in Kent.
5. outside in the rain, covered only by an electric blanket.
6. At Becking's Tolley's annual Festival of the Pylons, where traditionally former soccer legends are ritualistically beaten, tied to high electricity supply cables, and mocked with Super 8 films of their former achievements, but only if they fall asleep.
And 7, anywhere, providing he's wearing his T-shirt saying, "I was the one who missed that header in the 1982 World Cup."
Now, Kitty Kelly, Jimmy Knapp, Railway Workers Union leader, in the news this week. What, I wonder, lies behind that enigmatic exterior?
Jimmy Knapp, he's Scottish, isn't he?
Yes, yes.
And,
I could give you a fiver.
a bit of a cheese fetishist, in point of fact.
No, you don't say. Really?
Did I ever tell you about the time he was found beaten and robbed in a Filipino brothel with the words, "Cracker Barrel," tattooed on his left buttock?
George Carey, an archbishop who thinks he's pretty young and hip with his funky heavy metal hymns. But we at Weekending ask, George Carey, are you an old spuffer or what? We want you, George, to answer the Weekending age test.
George, if you drink a bottle of port in one, do you A?
Get hoovered and go slam dancing with the lads.
Or do you B?
Develop gout and find it difficult to get up.
Question 2. If you're shown a child you haven't seen for a while, do you A?
Say, hello, how are you?
Or do you B?
Say, my, haven't you grown? I remember when you were only this high and then moan about decimalisation.
Question 3. George, what is your idea of a good night out? Is it A?
Cruising round town, eating a Big Mac and trying to pick up some girls for some hot three-way action, or B?
Leaning on your Zimmer frame, chewing a bowl of Complan whilst dropping your false teeth down the U-bend.
Question 4. When giving absolution, do you
Stop. In the last few days, a tape has come into the possession of the Weekending team which purports to be the music that incoming Archbishop of Canterbury, the all-new, all-young George, so-called Carey, has chosen to be played at his investiture next week. But we think that the public should hear it first. Disturbing, isn't it? But there is an altogether more sinister side to this music, and it's only when played backwards that the unsuspecting listener can really hear it.
Worship Jesus, take communion, do it, it's great.
And that's not all. This recording of Kumbaya, planned for the solemn entry procession when played backwards, reveals...
Find eternal life through him, go to church Sunday mornings about 10:30.
But that's not all. We at Weekending believe that this is just another sign of the all-too-alarming growth of so-called messianic cults or Jesus worship. Hungry for facts and hard evidence, we went to Orkney Social Services for some answers.
Yes, well, we've been aware of it for some time now. It seems to have had a hold on the community for several hundred years, involving a central figure called a vicar or minister, and complex incantations called hymns.
So you took away their children?
Well, naturally. Well, they were innocent of sexual abuse.
It's for you, birthday boy!
Hello, dear, come in. Yes, hello.
Martin Clitheroe?
Yeah, that's me.
Martin Alexander Clitheroe?
Yeah, what about it?
Father of Yvonne 4 and Roger 2.
So what is this?
May I ask where they are?
Well, they're in their room, of course.
I see. While drunken adults cavort to erotic, suggestive, funky music barely 10 feet away in an adjoining room.
Now, that's enough. What are you suggesting?
You tell me, Mr. Clitheroe. Would their bedroom door be locked by any chance?
No, of course not. Now, I warn you, I'm losing my temper.
So anyone could go in there, is that right?
In theory, yes. So what?
Come now. Surely I don't have to spell it out.
Yeah, I'm jolly well afraid that you do.
Mr. Clitheroe, I promise you, this is going to be one birthday you'll never forget.
What the... here, hang on a sec. I get it. You're a social worker, Graham, aren't you?
Surprise!
Yeah. Uncle. You really had me going there for a while. That's right. Turn the music back on.
It came as a great shock when Frank Bruno announced that because of eye problems, he is to retire from the world of pantomime. Bruno says he's been offered the part of One-Eyed Long John Silver in Barnett's Christmas panto, but he thought it was best to retire with dignity after his superb Widow Twankey in last year's panto at the London Palladium.
Known throughout showbiz for his double act with Hazza Carpenter, there can be few people who don't instantly recognise the dazzling repartee of "Do you know what I mean, Harry?" followed every time by the lightning-fast response, No. Bruno grew up in a world hostile to everything he stood for. Knowing from an early age that all he wanted to be was Wendy in Peter Pan, Bruno was nevertheless forced into becoming a heavyweight boxer. He was soon spotted as the boxer who flies like a horse, stings like a sheep.
After a bit part as one of Santa's pixies in the Little and Large Christmas special, Bruno knew he must make the bravest move in his career. He fought against taking the world title from Mike Tyson and bravely signed up for a string of HP sauce commercials. The rest, of course, is history.
Frank Bruno, a grave loss to showbiz. We won't see another like him, at least not in striped tights.
I don't care, Mavis.
No.
I'm going to ask him.
Say
Now, the reason we at Oftel have asked you here is to justify your decision at BT to use the new VAT rate on telephone bills as far back as February.
Oh, really? Do I have to spell it out?
We are the voice of the consumer, and we have to ask. I'm afraid.
If it's not too much trouble.
But isn't it obvious?
Oh.
We make a lot more money this way. Good God!
Oh. Yes. Well, I think that answers our question.
Makes you wonder how the public manage without us, doesn't it? Hello, you're through to the week-ending answer phone. Please leave your name and message and we'll get back at you.
This is Vidal Sassoon here. I'm ringing on behalf of the Association of British Hairdressers. We wish to claim responsibility for the attack on Kevin Keegan. Long live the permanent wave.
This is Anne Gregg again with your essential guide to... Sorry, force of habit. So they've done it. Replaced me with that Annika Rice. I knew it. You think I've got a prize-winning rear? This is nothing personal against the woman, but they don't call her Bike Park Annika for nothing. Bye for now, and do tune in next week. Damn, I must stop doing that.
Oh, hello, now then, Jimmy Savile here, you see. Now, I'd just like to point out, guys and gals, that just because Kitty Kelly hasn't ever written anything about me, that doesn't mean those sordid rumours about me are true or anything, you see. Oh.
William Smith is being questioned on a rape which took place at a party held by the Kennedys. But we can exclusively reveal he was innocent.
It was the curse of the Kennedys. The public only knows part of the truth about the despicable curse of the Kennedys, which affects all 100 members of the Kennedy clan.
Phil Kennedy fell prey to it in 1978.
He locked himself out of his house.
And the chilling thing was, he had to climb in through the bathroom window. Furthermore, Angela Kennedy went to the cash point last June.
Only to read the chilling warning, sorry, we cannot dispense cash at the moment.
But the curse doesn't stop there.
Charles Kennedy lost 50p through a hole in his pocket.
And chillingly, he became president of the Liberal Democrats.
But most unfortunate of them all is Nigel Kennedy.
Chillingly, he has a complete lack of charisma and genuine wit.
Pass the papers, please, Norman.
Are you sure, John? Your advisors have said you shouldn't read them anymore. You react too much to their criticisms.
So, you and my advisors have been talking behind my back, eh? Well, let's see what it is in these papers that they don't want me to see. Just as I thought. Look, the Mirror's deliberately used the worst picture of me they could find. I look ridiculous.
That isn't you, dear. That's one of London Zoo's llamas.
It may be a llama to you, dear, but you're an intelligent woman. What's Joe Public supposed to think when he sees a picture of his leader eating leaves and trapped in a cage full of his own manure?
John, don't you think you're overreacting?
So you say. But look at this. Look. Page 12 of the Times. Look, it doesn't mention me at all. Also, it would seem...
Of course it doesn't, John. It's the 0898 sex lines page.
Yes, but if you take every third letter of every fifth word, then it spells out... Grey Thickie is PM, Nig Fondle Per.
Oh, calm down, John. All these things in the papers aren't really references to you at all. The sad truth is, no one's that interested.
So, Kitty, have you any saucy, scandalous gossip about John Major's past?
No.
Oh.
Oh, hey, the new Bonnie Prince Charlie. Would you like some haggis?
Hoods, man. I'd prepare some heel and shortcake. Push my bagpipes, please, as well.
Oh, it's the Loch Ness Monster. And look who's riding on his back. Way Hey, it's Robert the Brew.
Hello! Keep trying, Robert. I hope he doesn't want any money or anything. Many a mickle, much a muckle.
Oh, let's get really drunk on Scotch whiskey, Charlie. Who's that coming in that boat?
Oh, where's your pussy? Oh, that's Russ Abbott with his humorous Jimmy character.
I also like tartan and thistles.
Scottish Power. Made by the Scots, advertised by the English.
Hold on. We forgot to talk about Robbie Burns.
People of Kurdistan, rejoice!
Yes.
Bush says the war is over!
Yes! But then why are we still being shelled, forced out of our land? I don't understand.
If I could interrupt you a moment, please.
It's George Bush, President of America.
Yes, I couldn't help overhearing. I'm afraid what you have here isn't a war.
It isn't? Then where are all these bombs coming from?
No. This is a protracted interracial minor geographical localized disturbance aggravated by weaponry and large-scale bloodshed.
You mean a war?
I can't believe we're arguing the toss over dictionary definitions while people are suffering. There's only one thing for it. I'm going to phone up Robert Robinson.
Hello, Robert Robinson here, young man. And it's 3 o'clock in the morning, so whatever the semantic query you've got for me is, it had better be a good one.
Robert, George Bush here, and I maintain that the Iraqi-Kurdish conflict does not constitute a war in the true sense of the word.
And we say it does.
Ah, would that it were, young Mr. Bush, would that it were. Let's see who's bluffing. Ah, war is actually an old black country word for a tiny thimble-sized cup made of dry soil. Sinking or sucking the war was a euphemism for an unsatisfying drink or sexual experience. So I'm afraid you're all wrong.
Damn.
Oh, dear.
I say, where are you off to, Doc, old chap?
Why, Angus, I'm up to the Scottish Gulf Memorial Service. Yes, it promises to be barely good fun, by Jove.
Yes, rather. I'm looking forward to the St. George and the Dragon pageant with teas, scones, and Shakespeare recitals.
And don't forget about the burley-hatted Morris dancing and cherry-pally king cricket match.
Top hell, old boy.
Yes.
And the Cambridge footlight punting and silly Mr. Nignog songs, which will have us all in stitches.
Yes.
The Gulf Memorial Service. Set in Scotland, designed by the English.
Yes.
And now it's time for this week's That's a Bit Ironic.
This week, popular 70s rock band, the Bee Gees, accused rappers MC Hammer and Vanilla Ice of having no talent, meaningless lyrics, no musical ability, and ridiculous clothing.
That's a bit ironic.
Yes,
Smacks of irony there to me. And now here is next week's news. The weekend. The Ship Hotel in Tilbury is confirmed as Britain's hardest pub, as before entering, customers have to complete the Times crossword.
Monday, London Zoo announces an 11th-hour rescue plan, with new homes for all the new animals being offered by a major cosmetics company.
Tuesday, the Italian Prime Minister calls for the 50th government since the war to be more stable than the others from his official residence at a bed and breakfast hotel.
Wednesday, the funeral of Graham Greene continues as the bearers who picked up the coffin have found it impossible to put down.
Thursday, following the AA claim that motorists drive in time to whatever music they're listening to, a campaign is launched to give free cassettes of the William Tell Overture to middle-aged ladies in Morris Minors.
Friday, Nick Berry says that Henry Cooper did really well when they recorded a Radio 4 play together, except for the fact that every time they finished a scene, Henry ran to a corner and spat into a bucket. And that is the end of next week's news.
Weekending featured Sally Grace, John Glover, Alistair McGowan, David Icke and George Browning. The script was written by Ian Pattinson, Rod Millington, Robert Linford, Guy Browning, Henry Naylor, Andy Parsons, Julian Dutton, Louise Finan, Robin Curry, Richard Herring, Stuart Lee, Ben Moore, Alistair Murray, Socrates, Danny O'Brien, Steve Gribbin, Jill Brown, Dave Single, Crispin Belcher, John Random, Andrew Glover, Peter Stegel, Simon Marsh, Barry Atkins, Roderick Miller, Ole Stepaniuk, Peter Carey and St. Thomas Aquinas. With newslines by Peter Hickey, Max Alcock, Dave Dixon, Ben Francis, Jerry Godin, John George, Linda Smith and Faye Dickinson. The producer was Armando Iannucci.